Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Friday, September 1st, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin, the altcoin market, XRP, the stock market as the stock market is opening right now. We have a lot going on in markets today. Wrap up the end of the week. Yesterday, we wrapped up the month. Lots going on, lots to talk about. So we'll take a peek at the price charts of the cryptocurrency market. We'll take a look at the charts of the stock market. And we'll talk about news, we'll talk about metals, we'll talk about dollar, we'll talk about unemployment, we'll talk about participation rate, we'll talk about reverse repo, we'll talk about a lot of stuff today. And it's very interesting to see a lot of the things starting to line up in the economy right now as we actually got some unemployment data come out this morning where unemployment ticked up to 3.8% in the United States. That's the highest since May of 2022. We could look over here at the target rate probabilities for the September 20th meeting for the Fed on whether or not they're going to do another interest rate hike or if they're going to pause. It's now at 93% chance that they are going to be pausing. So it's getting to be an interesting time, especially with all the stuff we've been talking about with the Dow Jones, with ripping to the upside, whether crypto goes with it. You know, it's the whole thing, right? Of course, yesterday, you know, the big news, I think you guys know on this channel, if you don't tune into this channel very often, you know, yesterday, of course, a couple of days ago, you had a little bit of a pop on some type of SEC news with a judge denying the SEC's justification for denying the grayscale Bitcoin ETF or the conversion of GBTC into an actual ETF. And then yesterday, Grayscale delayed every single one of the ETFs that they have on the table, which on this channel, I always try to like portray if you know, if you're holding that hope, if you have this vested interest in ETF, and if it's going to be the reason why the market rips is because of this ETF, free yourself, take the shackles off. Do not care about it. It is totally not important. And it is just a carrot that is dangled in front of you constantly. And I've been through this for 6.5 years of that carrot being dangled, and it just never matters. I have watched this market rip with the same story where everybody thought that the ETF was the most important thing to happen, and it did not matter. And in any type of financial product that does get released ends up being, you know, the peak of the market or the reversal of the market. So even when an ETF comes out, everybody prices it in and thinks it'll be super bullish. But to just remember, the day that does happen, that's probably a bad sign for the market. Anyway, everybody, you know, thinks that, you know, prices pulled back due to that delay. We also saw the stock market sell off into the end of the day. Yesterday was the last day of August. So welcome to September, everybody, depending on where you live or whether you're dealing with a hot summer or not. You know, we're almost into the fall. Fall is one of my favorite seasons of the year, so I'll take the fall all day. But you know, prices pulled right back into this level, still continuing to hold. Nothing out of line here, so long as we're still just holding on top of that support that we've been on top of. So things are still behaving right in line. This one lasted 7 months. We're at 5 right now, guys. So things seem to be okay so far with Bitcoin and that pull down and ETF news, whatever. I think that's pretty consistent with the branding here on the channel. The ETF is stupid. It doesn't matter. And that's just the way it is. And it's just, I think it's one of those things, just kind of keep the faith and keep the carrot dangling. And that's what we went through all of 2018, 19, and 20. So whatever, ETF, okay. That won't be the last time, guys. That won't be the last time you get it dangled in front of you that you're going to get it. And it won't be the last time that the rug gets pulled out from underneath you when it comes to the ETF. So just don't worry about it. It's not important. What really matters, broader market liquidity flows. As long as we have money flowing into the markets, that's the thing that historically has been good for markets. And so that's the thing that kind of has me a little bit more excited, is that we've been looking at like the Dow, right? We've been looking at market structure. on how it's been behaving here. Let's put us on log scale so we could see that, right? Continuing with these higher highs and higher lows happening in here for the Dow, looking for something to get up and hit that 4.236 extension. But the thing that is also very interesting is that for over 1 year, the reverse repo market being stuck over $2 trillion, it breaks down. That causes all indexes to go break out above all of their retracement levels, including the S&P, the Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ. It pauses out from mid-July all the way until the end of August. What happened? Markets all pause. Crypto pauses, right? Crypto pauses, right? all throughout that time. And then finally, the reverse repo starts to kind of unload again here in these last few days. And yesterday, when the market sold off, like I'm sure you guys have noticed it when we keep pulling this up over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, this didn't move. It just kind of stayed still, right? And then yesterday, when we had the sell-off happen right in here, this little teeny tiny thing happened in here. Boom, there it goes again, buying the dip, hopefully. So to see money flowing out of here, flowing back to markets, that's a great sign. And to see the Fed pause, that's what you want to see in order for that money to flood out of here and get out of the reverse repo market. It's also the thing that gets people fired up. It gets people more confident in the market if they think that the Fed is going to be pausing. I don't think it's going to last forever, right? Like the idea of all of this is still that 4.236 extension, fingers crossed, unless if a lower low gets taken out in here. But the signs are starting to kind of tune up here that we're looking for liquidity. So today we had unemployment data come out at 3.8%. We haven't had that since May of 2022, so almost a year and a half that we have not had that high of a reading. That's what has people optimistic that the Fed is going to be pausing. We also saw the the market participation rate tick up as well. So more people are entering into the workforce rather than sitting around chilling because they're all doing so well. People are having to work now. And so that's why we also see the unemployment rate tick up a little bit as well as more people do enter into the market. So you have things that the Fed is looking for to pause out. Things for them to pause out causes liquidity to flood out of the reverse repo. And this is the looking for broader market moves is the thing to get this going. And so, with ETF news, I think now that we've had this happen here kind of twice in the last month and a half, we can kind of reflect on it that regardless of whatever news is, if there's not enough liquidity pouring into the market, it's not enough to push it into like a bull run. And I think we saw that with XRP. What was the element that we kept saying? There's one element, though, that's missing, and it was Bitcoin the whole time, right? It was missing that we did not have liquidity flooding into the market. People were looking for XRP to go on a bull run on its own. And the reality is it takes the whole market to send it. And I always say it's the most unsexy thing to say. It's the thing people hate to hear the most, that XRP could actually be tied to the rest of the market or tied to Bitcoin or tied to broader markets, and that it's all just one really big trade at the same time. And so when we see news happen for Bitcoin, we need to be seeing those liquidity floods happening everywhere else. So it's not just going to be good news to do it. So, right, we need to see these other elements happen. We need to see money moving, not just news and hoping news is the thing to catalyze it by itself. But that's why I keep showing these other things. These are elements that are positive for liquidity to start entering into markets and for euphoria to happen. And again, like I've said, I think the market's going to misread it. I think the market is going to take extremely negative economic data as being bullish, as it means that the Fed will stop and that the Fed is going to have to pause and that the Fed is going to have to cut rates. And I think that the market's going to misinterpret it whenever the rates do start getting cut again at some point. They're going to think that's super bullish for the stock market. But that's actually going to be the sign that things are going to start crumbling. First things first, though, let's just pause. Pausing has historically been good for the market. And well, if we can continue like this, we might have some exciting times ahead of us. But if we get up here and if they start cutting rates, and then if Congress suddenly says, we're going to be the most ethical Congress that has ever existed in the history of all time, we're going to sell all of our stocks because we're good. And then the Fed starts cutting. We're going to have to turn this into like the bear chain backer I don't know, like doom backer or something. I don't know at that point. We have to figure out something at that point. But that's hopefully we have like a super exciting remainder of our year ahead of us. And yeah, so I think by the time next year rolls around, that negative outlook, that negative data, when you're seeing unemployment tick up and then people are excited that we're going to see rates start getting cut, and then you see the stock market take off in the morning and be up 170 points for the Dow Jones, right? Oh, good, unemployment's up. Yay. Let's fire the stock market up. It's only because they're hoping that the Fed will pause. But then once the real problems start to emerge, that's when things start getting a little bit sketchy out there. Either way, I see positive stuff. Nothing stresses me out here in this market right now. I know a lot of people were real disappointed to see that pullback happen in there for Bitcoin yesterday. Still sitting right on top of supports. Still really exactly where Bitcoin should be. I actually wrote an entire newsletter yesterday. Bitcoin's 4-year cycles. Is it real? Are we on track? The charts give an interesting insight. I'll put a link to that in here. That is a premium newsletter in there. But kind of going through Bitcoin's 4-year cycles, Bitcoin's 4-year recoveries, and are things on track currently right now? Yeah, surprisingly, they actually are. The thing that definitely wouldn't be on track is the people calling for 12K. That would actually be doom. Super doom. But otherwise, as it is right now, it's actually right where it's supposed to be. And then we do, of course, have setups happening here in the stock market that are favorable and positive. So it's like we're getting all these elements to kind of show up in here, right? Like look right back here. Right? Let's overlay that on Bitcoin again. And we'll do it from here. Let's go back to the DXY. We'll do Bitcoin, Coinbase. As you can see, where does this thing really start to take off, right? Where the reverse repo facility opens, liquidity drains from the market, and goes and gets parked over at the Fed. And what happens? Done. Right? What happens? It peaks, right? It peaks at the reverse repo. Whoop, off the lows we come, right? And so I just don't think people realize how much this reversal is really happening in here, and that this is turning around. And there's the very clear indications in here of how as the money left the market, we chill out, and then as the money peaks and starts re-entering, we come off the lows. So to see that happening in there, I just from a macro or just from a fundamental perspective, hard not to be optimistic right there. So that's cool. All right, let's get on to all the other stuff that we normally do. I don't know. I've just been rambling now for 13 minutes. Okay, but there you go. Bitcoin, all good. Still holding supports. Of course, follow me over here on Twitter at BCBacker. It's my only social media. Merch store. Give you guys that. There you go. There's the merch. And of course, bcbacker.com. If you're looking for something to do over the weekend, of course, you can check out my course that I put together with over 40 videos, over 11 hours of content over there. Absolutely amazing. Okay, moving on. Yesterday, when we had the move yesterday, it was about $120 million in liquidations that happened yesterday. You can kind of get a look down in here and see how it was compared to the one that we had back there on like the 17th or 18th. You can see how much liquidations happened. Since then, that's the highest day that we have had. Of course, nothing compared to that. That was $1 billion that day. But there were some liquidations that did take place in there. So some of the leverage did get wiped out of the market once again. As for XRP, we've been following this one too. You can see that there you go, still just waddling on along. I'm still unconfident on whether or not to say, was that our spring? Hard for me to get too, like, we actually talked about this yesterday, right? This line right here, somebody had asked about that. Do you think it'll go all the way back down to, where did they say, 43 cents or something like that? I'd said, well, I think my thoughts are more along the lines of something like this. In yesterday's move, you can see it right in there. But I'm definitely not super confident enough to say that we've gotten through the whole accumulation already, and that was spring. That seems like that would be pretty quick for something like that to happen, that it actually would go on a little bit longer. But there's a little bit of hope that maybe it was. So we'll monitor it over the coming days. If this thing fires up and if we start hovering around here in the 62 to 63 cent level, I will believe that we are finished with the accumulation down here at the lows. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the weekend. If anything happens, of course, I'll pop up. I will talk about it over there on Twitter. All right, stock market. Dow Jones up 179 points, which is about 0.5%. The S&P is up 18 points, about 0.42%. And the NASDAQ is up 25 points, about 0.16%. The leaders of today are Roblox, Caterpillar, and Netflix. Losers of the day are Tesla, Nvidia, and Google. The US dollar currency index took a little bit of a spill here this morning when that economic data came out. As you can see, it is still holding itself and recovering okay. This is what we were just talking about with reverse repos. You can see the liquidity exiting the markets. You can see liquidity entering the markets. And just here in the last day, it did start to spill down again, and everybody's panicked, but that's a pretty good sign to see happening in there. Volatility index, something we rarely talk about and something we will continue to rarely talk about it, but I do recall somebody asking me about it maybe a week or two ago. And as you can see, the volatility has pulled all the way back down to the lows. So not doom time yet, right? So when this volatility index spikes and goes out of control, shooting all the way up here to, I wish I got so much crud on here at this point. There we go. Shooting up to about 80. This is your C19 sell-off. This is your great financial crisis. This has marked where the bottoms are. Of course, everybody wants to buy the VIX thinking doom time. But this thing is very back and forth. And I just thought we'd point to that again. After breaking down, here it is back at the lows again. Somebody was thinking about long in that last week. Not so great. As for crypto markets, this was something I included in my newsletter yesterday, just kind of giving a peek into how long we've been in this thing. And I know for a lot of people, it's hard to wrap your head around that, not having a reference point to go back to in 2018, 19, and 20. We are so deep into this that we are like almost 2 months past C19. As for gold, gold has held itself for the weekly close. Let's take a look at the monthly close. This is a monthly close. Okay, monthly close. There you go. There's your August monthly close on top of the retracement level. So you can see this was the monthly close level at the 702 retracement back in March and April of 2022. That was the hold down zone. Not quite able to hold it. Holds it again this time. Gold. I'm getting very intrigued by gold. The fact that it's not like really breaking down. And if I had to make like my best guess of the market, I don't know how the market's going to play out, but if I had to make my best guess of the market and how this thing is structurally setting itself up is, I'm trying to find it. Sorry, I'm looking at the top. I'm trying to find it. I've lost it. So we're just going to use this one. As long as we continue to maintain higher lows in here, that we see equity markets just kind of rip near till really the end of the year, and that 2023 still continues to be that year. And at the end of this year, that's going to mark the end of the equity market, and then the flip switches. Or the switch flips, whatever. I don't know the term. You guys know it better than me. And then off and away we go with gold. But gold is holding up relatively well. And so that's just kind of my thoughts of it being in here with how well it's held up. I hate trend lines. They're dumb. They're dumb. But you got almost like a double top on top of the high over here. And then now it's starting to kind of bull flag in here. And so this bull flag could last for a few months, and then finally it gets its breakout. And the interesting thing about gold is I've been looking at it like compared to other countries, like looking at it versus the Japanese yen, Canadian dollar, Great British pound, the euro. Gold's in a bull run like everywhere, except versus the US dollar. So there's likely gold FOMO happening really throughout the whole world. But somehow, with what's going on with the DXY, and it's just kind of holding itself for the last several months, it has not allowed gold to go. But okay. All right, there we go. Overnight repos. We'll refresh this one really quick. 93% chance that the Fed is paused at the next interest rate hike. As for news today, unemployment rate unexpectedly rose to 3.8% in August as payrolls increased by 187. Stock futures rise on hope of increasing unemployment rate will keep the Fed at bay. So just remember, we are in a unique time of that situation right there. There's going to be a day where unemployment likely spirals out of control, and it's not bullish. It's not optimistic. Hollywood strike, trucker yellows closure put 54,000 out of work. So I actually just learned a week ago that Hollywood's been on strike. I didn't know that. I guess apparently for like the last couple of months, all of the late night hosts like Jimmy Kimmel and who are the other guys? Stephen Colbert, all those guys, I guess they've been off TV. I did not even know that. So it turns out they're on strike. That's okay. I don't think anyone cares. Yeah, we have YouTube. We have the YouTube. Okay. John Corzine's critics want him banned from futures trading. China ramps up campaign to boost fragile economy and currency. Yeah, China's really trying their hardest there to save things. Tesla refreshes the Model 3. U.S. stocks still face hard landing risks, Bank of America says. Wall Street gets tough on return to office laggards. Okay. Bitwise withdraws the Bitcoin and Ether market cap ETF. Bitcoin risks a swift 23K dive after Bitcoin price loses 11% in August. GTA owner joins Web3, Bitcoin Casino. Sunflower Land review. Okay, if WorldCoin can improve the world, why not give it a chance? Huh. Does that sound like a paid-for article to you? Hey, if WorldCoin can improve the world, why not give it a chance, you guys? Binance Australia GM, really confident regulators will side with crypto. Here's what happened in crypto today. 16 million in crypto lost to hacks in August. 16 million, isn't that like better than usual? When will be too late to invest in Bitcoin? Binance pushes new stablecoin as it confirms SEC delays decision on 6 spot Bitcoin ETF applicants. I can't tell you how nice it is to like not care about a Bitcoin ETF. You will never get your hopes up and you will never get your hopes down. SEC delays the spot Bitcoin ETF decision for all applicants. And what we need to do is we need to find like all of them. Like we could, like if somebody's out there, if you're a YouTuber, I know there's YouTubers that do listen. This content might match your channel. Go find all the articles through all of 2018, all of 2019, all of 2020 of the ups and downs of emotions of ETF carrot dangling like we're experiencing right now, and just show how like this has constantly always been happening. I guarantee you could make a whole YouTube video just showing it, and it would probably put people's like get their expectations in check and in line, like to understand this is just what happens. We always deal with this. You think Gary is going to approve a Bitcoin ETF? None of the prior guys did. Gary's like the most hostile we've ever had. Like, look at the guys prior. But okay, there you go. Bitcoin still holding on top of support. Stock market up this morning, up 177 because unemployment's ticking up. We do see more money coming out of the reverse repos. We know that's the point in time where things turned around for the market. We could see it reversed, continuing to fall here in just the last day. The fall has continued. Price hasn't reflected it yet, but we do see that fall happening. And that, of course, looking for the stock market to be the golden child out there. Otherwise, it seems like we're kind of ending the week okay here, guys. I get it. Like nobody likes to be back at supports again right now. Everybody's real worried about the supports. I mean, if those supports break, then we have some concerns about Bitcoin in general. But as of right now, you don't have the signs everywhere that we're about to go plunging, unless something catastrophic happened in crypto specifically. The other markets aren't pointing to that currently right now. So, that's the thing I'm more focused on. So, things seem pretty okay. So, all right, let's jump into the chat, you guys. Phil De Maria, first timer. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. No message. Hugh D says, what do you make of all these analysts telling us that September is always red for Bitcoin? It's always red. All right, let's go look at the context of it. Let's go to months. I don't want to mess this chart up. Let's mess up this chart. We'll get rid of this. And here we go. All right, so we're in September. Here's September. Here's September. Here's September. Here's September. Here's September. Here's September. Look at that. Always red. Sure enough. Let's see the context, right? Let's look at the stock market. I'll do the same thing to you. Okay, September. There you go. There's all of them. So how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last 4 have been. Then we have 1, 2 that are not. Flag, range. If it's going to be red, here's the reality. If it's going to be red, it has to be a sliver red. And it has to be the worst, tightest range ever, and sit right here the whole time. It has to be a month of literally that. Or once again, a month where we kind of like look like our weekly candle like we just printed. Like this. You can't go taking out those lows right here at 24/7 and have a long-term bullish outlook. You just can't. What will it do? We'll find out, but you have no references to go back and say that. If you go take out those lows again, you're going to lose everything. I'm going to call on, let's do this too. Hold on. So here's a problem too, right? So like I've gone through this. I've been in this a lot too. Let's go to all of the Junes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red Junes, except for one anomaly of a green. And it was massively green, right? So do we now say June is going to suck? Don't know. What I will say is that when we're in markets like this, like you typically are only going to have periods where everything is green in the short time periods, right? Like otherwise, it's just going to be a lot of what is going on here, right? You're washing machining in crypto at all times until the very short time period of excitement. So let's do other months and examples. How about we go back one? Let's go to May. What am I in? May. May, 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 May. 1, 2, 3. A wash. What is this one? June, May. Oh, we didn't just do this one too. That June, right? No, that June was green. That one's red. I don't know. I couldn't imagine putting my eggs in the basket and being like, we have to go down because of the month, right? You're then negating all of that, right? I wouldn't think so. We'll find out. But you better hope it's not below 24.7. If it goes below 24.7, good luck. Good luck on Bitcoin. I probably, all the Bitcoin that I bought during the FTX collapse, I will probably sell that Bitcoin and some of it go into like Ethereum and into XRP. But otherwise, I will not be able to track. I won't have a clear read on Bitcoin. And I just wrote a whole thing on it on here. Where are you? I just wrote a whole thing tracking Bitcoin's 4-year cycles. And if you go breaking down from here, unfortunately for the 12K callers, they're all 4-year cycle theorists. Like I speculated yesterday, I think it's very safe for a content brand to be short-term bearish but long-term bullish. That way, you get the benefits of both. You get to say, see, I told you we were going to go down, but you get to keep making content because you're long-term bullish. Understanding that breaking below 24.7, it does not go with your 4-year cycles anymore. You're on your own. You have nothing. You got nothing anymore. So I'm going to go with the belief that it would be very, very inappropriate for Bitcoin's price behavior to continue any type of cyclical behavior for it to actually have a red month. I think it actually should be green because of where we're starting the month. The only thing it could do is like if it prints a red candle that is like this right in here, right? And it doesn't go take out those lows. So if we want to print a red one and all we're going to do the entire month of September is hang out in the 25s, okay, fair enough. Red candle for September wins, but definitely not below 24.8, or else big problems for Bitcoin. But it's interesting. It looks like the last 6, yes. Sick Thinker. I would like to take this time and thank Pat for all that he does for the group. Oh, and BCB, you're super cool too. Thank you. Member 4 months. Pat does, man. Pat's the man. Thank you, Sick Thinker. Jerome T. Gifted 5 BCB memberships. Man, Jerome, thank you. And Pat, I see you too, brother. Thank you very much. Jerome Burrows says, a couple years ago, I suffered a brain aneurysm and a stroke. Okay, cool. And listening to you, okay, a couple years ago, I suffered a brain aneurysm and a stroke, and listening to you helped me. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I'm glad I could be there during that tough time. A lot of you guys may not know this. When I was young, I was in a skateboarding accident and I cracked my skull open really bad. I have I don't even remember how big the crack in my skull was, but I had bleeding from the brain. They had to cut my head open. I got a nice horseshoe on my head, and they had to pull out the skull, they had to staple the skull back together. And I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and I missed like 3 months of school when I was young, when I was in my early teens. So, right on. Well, best of luck to you with a big recovery. Hopefully, you're already on the track. I said a couple of years ago. Appreciate it, George. Print engineering. Do XTC faster, cheaper? SCs more capable? Room for growth. XLM also okay. Eli wants to make X financial and loves letter XXLM, XTC, and XRP going to be huge. Okay. Print engineer, thank you. Brave Sigma 82. Is the XRP moon fractal still valid? I don't know, man. I'd argue that it is broken. Jeff G. Long time, first time. But what it doesn't change is it doesn't change that it's a contracting triangle and this was E, right? Those were the things we're talking about too. That we were looking for the ABC of E. It doesn't invalidate any of that. But as for timing, you're beyond time at this point. You would already be like dollars by now if you were following that thing. Jeff G. Long time, first time. Keep on rocking. CB. Dude, Jeff, thank you, man. It is first timer, brother. Thank you. George Burrows says, thanks, brother. Yeah, man. Oscar with the super chat. Thank you, Oscar, my brother. For those listening through headphones or driving around on a concrete truck, eyes on the gorilla. We all know that means blockchain trucker. Hit the like button. Digital Dunt says, BCB, I think XRP will dethrone Bitcoin. Alt rise relies on Bitcoin dominance, retrace an all-time high. If XRP is king, could you hypothesize how that transition plays out? So what makes you think XRP will dethrone Bitcoin? All right. Alt rise relies on Bitcoin dominance, retrace an all-time high. If XRP is king, could you hypothesize how that transition plays out? I don't know. I have a hard time seeing how XRP would overthrow Bitcoin. Maybe temporarily in like some crazy, like really hype moment in time, right? Like something super hype is happening. But it would be very different from this market. And I think what we actually saw, like, really, like, just go ahead, like everybody who's frustrated and disappointed that you didn't see the price explode to unbelievable 150 Fed buyback $50,000 prices once the XRP won the lawsuit. It still is just behaving like it's always behaved, where it wants to move with the market. Like it won't go into a bull run unless there's liquidity flows into the whole market, right? It's not doing anything independently. It's, not at all. And that's been the argument from day one. And that just seems to be what is the case still, right? If it wasn't tied to the crypto market, right? We sit there the whole time, we're saying, what's the one element that's missing for this thing to go? And it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not going. We're not seeing the whole market move. Whenever XRP takes off and goes in its bull runs, it goes with the market. So to like think it's going to dethrone Bitcoin or go do its own thing, it would just be a total deviation from how it's behaved for 10 years now. So I have a hard time seeing it unless it was a temporary moment in time. JJ gifted 5 BCB memberships. Thank you, man. Crypto Pigeon says, sorry if you've been asked this, but what are your thoughts on the mutiny that BitBoy seems to have suffered? I've been sitting on the sidelines with this, kind of waiting for more information to come out on all of it. You have accusations that get thrown out there. As you guys know, I've been sober for 10 years. Still sober to this day. Nothing. As clean as you can get. So, to see those accusations get thrown about somebody who has, it doesn't matter whether you like BitBoy or don't like BitBoy. Being in my position, he's had longer sobriety than I have. So for me, it was actually pretty, it hit home a little bit when I heard the accusations of substance abuse and whatnot. And, I've been waiting and sitting around waiting for BitBoy to comment on that. I've thought about tweeting something about it, but it's something you actually know when you're sober. Does this need to be said by me? And does it need to be said by me right now? And so I just said, you know what, there's no point in me commenting on it. I'm just going to let things kind of play out a little bit. And things have continued to play out. And if you didn't know, he released a video yesterday. You can go check out his YouTube, the actual BitBoy Crypto YouTube channel. They did release a video, and Ben does talk on there for about 7 or 8 minutes to give you kind of a peek into it. And I think Ben is working the things that need to be worked to turn things around, and that's all we can do. And it seems like he's sincerely trying to do that, and there's no way I can be like judgmental of someone trying to do that. I think he's trying, and we're all imperfect human beings. We all do things we're not proud of, and the most admirable thing people can do is try to change and improve themselves. And I think if you watch that video that was released over there on BitBoy Crypto last night, I think you get kind of a clue into what's going on. There may be things in there that surprise you, and you're just like, oh wow. But the fact that he's doing what he's doing, he's openly talking about it. He's going through a rough time right now, man. So, but he's doing what he can do, and give him props for that, for sure. So I'm cheering for Ben. And I do understand a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about Ben. I do understand that. But Ben has the potential here to show the world what it's like to come out the other side. And there's so much addiction out there. There's so much, and I don't know the extent of everything Ben has done. If there is real substance abuse, if it's just whatever he says and everything like that. But I think it's going to be such a great story if this turns around and all these people get to really see, like, there's people who are watching this channel right now. There's 1,674 people in here. I guarantee there's some serious drug addicts in here right now. There's some serious alcoholics in here right now, even if it's just a couple of them. And they need to see someone come out of it. And I think that the opportunity of this story and to show people that, you can always bounce back. I think that's going to be the big thing that comes out of this. And I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to change people's lives. So I don't know. I'm not on the inside to know all the things that have happened over there. But Ben did release a video last night. Go watch it on the BitBoy Crypto YouTube channel. They obviously worked together with TJ, and TJ did release it on the channel. Jury, blockchain blocker, XLP over XPS as recession indicator. I don't even know what those are. I don't know if this is a joke because of, well, are these even anything? X Life Sciences? Just joking here. Sure. Thank you, Jory. Tanner, has Bitcoin filled the volume profile around these prices right now? We haven't seen that in a while. What do you think? Well, we can take a peek at it. I screwed up. Sorry. Okay, here we go. It's definitely way more filled in than it used to be, right? Here we go. This is really kind of the zone. It used to be way bigger. Oh, hold on. I misread something. PTW came in for print engineering to save the day. Do XDC faster and cheaper SCs, more capable room for growth. XLM also okay. Elon wants to make X financial and loves the letter X. XLM, XDC, and XRP are going to be huge. Is this the one I misread? I mean, trying to connect dots with the name of the app being X and then going with XRP, XDC, XLM. I don't think there's any correlation there, guys. It makes great YouTube content, but I don't think there's a correlation there. There you go. That's the volume profile area. So it's still just kind of bouncing around in there, right? So fortunately to the downside, below 25,000, it's already filled, right? So this has been the empty spot. I wish we could see what it used to really look like. I mean, it used to be down next to nothing, right? Because we had only here, which we didn't trade, only here, which we didn't trade, and here, which we didn't trade. Then we came in here. Now we're just kind of like dancing and bouncing in it. That'll be curious to see. Is that kind of how we are for the September red candle, right? That you just kind of are still working out that volume profile in there. Be interesting. There you go. But I'm pretty sure this thing used to be all the way down here, like next to zero. George says, man, I was in the hospital for 18 months. Dang, brother. Yeah, I was in for a couple of weeks. Joe Daddy says, how's XRP looking against BTC? I haven't looked. Below the 200-week moving average, so last time I checked. There you go. Nothing crazy. But the Bitcoin dominance still in its downtrend since June. We are now in September, guys. The Bitcoin dominance has been downtrending for 2 months now. Like I've done into all the stuff on there. It doesn't mean we're not going to waddle back up and get back up to like 50% or something like that. But I do believe we have peaked. We have seen peak Bitcoin dominance. Every time we get a pop-up here over Twitter, I see Bitcoin dominance is going to moon. We're going to moon. And then silence. Every time Bitcoin falls, Bitcoin's falling harder than the market. So there you go. Digital Dot says Netflix overthrew Blockbuster because it was inferior and outdated. XRP is superior to Bitcoin the same. What would your thoughts be if it did happen? Well, that's not why Netflix overthrew Blockbuster. Because it was superior. Right? So like it was a totally different model. Right. I mean, I get it. Like, Blockbuster went out of business. The whole renting movies changed, right? That market changed. We're now doing digital movies where we don't have to go to the store and get stuff. We don't have to call the store and ask them, hey, do you have this in stock? We've gone to a digital world where, anything is readily available at our fingertips. And I don't know if that is the case here, where there's a giant technology change happening in there. And Blockbuster, refused to go that route. And by the time they did, it was like way too late. But you just have to realize, you're asking for something different. First of all, it's never happened before where XRP has bypassed Bitcoin. It has happened before where it's bypassed Ethereum, but it was so short-lived each time, it just didn't last long. So you're not only asking for it to bypass Ethereum, but you're asking it to also bypass Bitcoin and to hold it. Let's get past Ethereum first. You know what I mean? There's still that guy. So I don't know. It's hard for me to theorize what that would look like because there's no historical context to go back and say that would be appropriate to consider. It just doesn't look right. Nothing about it. But thank you, Digital Dunce. George Burrows says, I was subscriber 3,500-ish. Dang. That puts you in like 2019. Maybe even early 2020? Maybe? No, I had more than 3,500 by 2020, right? I don't know. Silas says, it still missed 7 waves on daily on XRP. Maybe? Thanks. Let me pull up XRP. I don't think that this is that particular crashing structure. I don't think that this is the like this, right? This is your crashing structure, right? This is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? I don't think that's what this is. This is a different. This is a different crashing structure. Usually we could make a video on that one too, but this one's common too. Hawkeye, new member, welcome. All right. There you go. Bitcoin's 200 week. So, one thing too, like we're talking about like just a retrace happening in here for Bitcoin rather than new all-time high, new bull market. One thing I don't ever see Bitcoiners do, I don't ever see them making price predictions. Man, when we were in 2018, 2019, 2020, they used to love making them. I think every Bitcoin bull, ask them, what are your thoughts on how high Bitcoin can go? Because I don't think any of them want to admit it. Like, even if you got an all-time high, which I don't think you're going to get. Like, you really think you're going to get 100K out of this thing? I don't think so. Even if you got an all-time high. It's just the weakness in it has really rolled over. They just say moon. They don't say prices. Right, because the prices, be like, wait a minute, I'm doing the math on that. That's not moon. That's like a little bit. Rico says, I'll be honest, Bitcoin will stay the gold of crypto and XRP will be the silver. That's a fat comparison. Well, remember Litecoin used to be the silver of crypto. It used to be Bitcoin silver. Boomer Dave says it's going to 90K based on the 5.3 rule. Okay, right. So I guess we could even use that just for that. Is 90K exciting? Is 27.5 or what are we at? 26K? Is 26K to 90K exciting? I don't think so. I'm not playing in a market where like 80, 90% crashes are normal to 2x. Alpha Beta Soup. Triple top off 2021 highs. Calling it now. Oh, nope. Alpha Beta Soup. Get out of here. Get. Triple top. Okay, how high has it got to get? So it's got to get to 69K? You can't, 54K does not count as triple top. That's a retrace. Chris Young, 19.2 looks to be the calling for Bitcoin. Very critical make or break. It hits 1217, 1220, and a lot past year. Missed it in 323. Weekly MACD and RSI are ugly, and 19225 is the 0.236 fig from 69 to 38. I'm not gonna agree that that's okay. I'm not gonna agree. I think if we take out 24.8, I have to start losing faith in Bitcoin. Let me show you this too. I'll show you this. Right? Everybody's paranoid right now. Right? Everybody's terrified because of where we're at, right? I'll just show you something real fast. Hide the drawings. Okay. There's Bitcoin. I will say this. Bitcoin is so weak, just in general. Like, just, you have every stock index up here. How weak is Bitcoin? It's amazing. All right, but moving along. That's not the whole point. This was gold, right? Not pretty. Not pretty. But eventually held its lows. In some magical way, pulled its way out. Right? But it kept holding higher lows, right? So I do think that's really important for Bitcoin. And you have to understand too, where Bitcoin's price is at currently right now is actually okay. It is okay. But going to 19K or going to especially 12K, I do not think any of the people calling for 12K have any idea what they're calling for. Here's my, and like I always say, here's my problem with 12K. The 12K call is not, hey, this is a, you know what, we're downtrending, it's time to go to 12K. Everybody has this exact same idea. We go to 12K because it's 84% or whatever it is, like we did in 2014, 2018. That's the floor. That's where we bounce and we start our new cycle from. You're way too late in the cycle for something like that to happen. Just way too late. If something like that were to occur at this point, I sincerely think it's broken. And so what you were likely going to see, if we ever do see 12K, is everybody gloating and cheering. See, told you it was going to 12K. Then the thing is going to break real hard and go to 6K. And then they're going to say, wait a minute. Hold on. I knew about 12K, but I didn't know about 6K. Then it's going to break to 3K. And I don't think any of them realize that their idea of 12K with we're going to do 84% like we did in 2014 and 18, you're way too late in the game for that to happen right now. Free Kip says, guys, stop it. It's 11.9. Yeah, Gaffel Beta Soup. 12K is not support. It's just not. But we can go to 12K, is what he says. I actually don't think you would. I don't know why you would need to go to 12K, 20K and always retested before going bull. I don't agree with that. I don't. Bitcoin has ranged, right? Coming off of the lows, ranging, and then escaping. There's nothing saying you have to come all the way back down here again. Nothing. That'd be like saying it needed to revisit right here, right? It did not. It did not. Um, so I don't think so. At this point in Bitcoin, you have higher lows and higher highs. I think if you start taking out lower lows, it's watch out, right? And that'll be the thing that comes, right? Either we get it or we don't. As long as we're holding the higher lows, all you guys can scream for your lower prices all you want. Oh, the only thing that's going to happen when those lower prices happen is I'm going to say that's it. I'm ditching my Bitcoin and I'm going to go play in other places than in Bitcoin. Especially if everybody's calling for 90K is the highest it can possibly go. Who cares? Good riddance, Bitcoin. Jerome T. Yeah, I mean, part of that's true, right? Okay. Let's turn this thing up, man. Too bad we can't play the frog on a Friday. And then everyone's going to say, play the frog. Let's see how we're doing over there in stocks now that the day has gotten going. Dow Jones still up 192 points. Good start to the day. Whoever said we have red, look at that. We're green. we're 1 hour into the month. We're up 189 for the Dow. It's fantastic. We're up for the S&P about 0.5% as well. And the NASDAQ is up this morning too. Mostly green over here in the stock market. Leaders, Netflix, Roblox, Caterpillar. Losers, Coinbase, Nvidia, and Tesla as the day gets in motion. US dollar reversed off of all that unemployment data. Let's take a look over here. Is this still the same? Unemployment ticked up to 3.8% this morning, which is the highest we've seen since May of 2022. Everybody's saying, hey, the Fed's not going to raise rates anymore. The Fed is done. And like we keep pouring through, boy, it's hard for me to find all this stuff. We can see that money is still outflowing from the reverse repo. I think things are looking positive, at least for a short-term, exciting rally to happen in the markets. But eventually, all that unemployment data might end up being a bad thing at some point. As of right now, it's what the market wants. Retail wants to rally on the idea of rate cuts. So it'll be a tricky environment in here, but we've spent months trying to theorize what that would look like. I think we have a pretty good grasp on it. That if rate cuts do eventually start happening, that's going to be kind of the mark of the peak. And of course, if Congress comes out and says, hey, we're going to be for the first time in history, we're going to act ethical. We're going to sell all of our stocks. Hey guys, for the first time in history, we're going to be ethical. We're going to sell all of our stocks. Run, run, run. Right? That's going to be the moment. Until then, though, things are looking okay. You got higher highs, you got higher lows happening over here in the markets, and then you got liquidity starting to come back in. So I think things are okay. Now we're starting to get kind of the narrative that people want, the narrative that retail wants, and let's rock and roll. Otherwise, heading into the weekend, of course, looking for Bitcoin to hold that support. I think there's a lot of copium out there thinking that we can break these things down and they'll get to buy lower prices, that those things will be okay. I personally will not have that belief that if we go lower that it is okay. I will think that it is trouble. But otherwise, it's still holding it. Nothing alarming. As a matter of fact, Bitcoin's right where it actually should be currently right now, based on past recoveries of Bitcoin's price action. So it's actually doing just fine. Otherwise, for XRP, still mixed on this thing. I want to get to see this thing start to play out a little bit more before getting too excited. We had talked about it yesterday in accumulation schematics that you actually would take out that low. It's happened so fast. I second guess that we actually did occur that quickly, but I guess it's possible. Otherwise, let it kind of play through the weekend before I get too excited that it could start recovering itself. If we start seeing stuff in the mid 60s, that'll be it. I'll think the low's in and we're already working our way back up. Otherwise, for the Dow, looking to see if we can get a nice green close to end off this week, making it another green week out there. U.S. dollar currency index is rampaging after that opening, with that unemployment data happening in there as the VIX volatility index continues to crumble. Gold, how you doing this morning? A quick pop this morning now has taken the drop as the U.S. dollar currency index starts working its way up. Silver still working up here, a little bit over $20, 24. So actually, silver's having a little bit of a worse day than gold even is. Down almost 1% for silver as the DXY is ripping to the upside. Otherwise, stocks doing just fine, waiting for that to transition over into the crypto market as Bitcoin still sits above support. Otherwise, guys, I will have a video out today. Yesterday's, man, the last day of the month is always like the busiest day for me. I walk around looking like a grizzly bear the whole time. My wife has to like cook me meals and bring them to me, and I'm like, it's a hard day for me. But once we get through it, it's cool. I know there haven't been videos last 2 days. We did markets in the morning every day this week, but there wasn't a video on Wednesday or Thursday. I will get one out today. I'll do my best to get one out today. I do have a topic to talk about. So, all right, that's gonna be it. Alpha Beta Soup member for 2 months. BCB is king. Smash the like button, my man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. That is TXMC for everybody. I promise I'm not paranoid. Chris Young, zero emotions. I'm just looking at the chart from 1217 and 1220. And now 19.2 makes sense. Too much. 1220. That was what I was writing in my newsletter. Everybody, but people, if you weren't here in 2020, everybody was screaming that we were going to 3K in here the whole time, if you don't know that. Everybody who thinks this was easy and it was like all green skies. No. This is the moment where everybody became bullish on the market right in here. This was all 3K. Don't you know we're going to 3K? You don't know nothing, BCB. Chris, yeah, I'm just looking at the chart from 1217. So you're talking about December 17th in 1220? So I don't know if you're meaning like these dates of 1220. Or if you're talking about in past years. So I doubt you're talking about 1220, and I doubt you're talking about 1217. I assume you're talking about December. So like, and this is December of 2020, and let's see what you're talking about here. And what you're talking about in December of 2017. 19.2 makes too much sense. Oh. Are you just talking about the top? You're talking about backtesting the all-time high again? We already did it. We did it right there. We did it on March 10th. Right? So March 10th already backtested it. Is that what you're talking about? Backtesting the previous all-time high? Okay. All right. Well, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I understand this was, we actually are ending the week where we began, but we had a weird narrative in the middle of all of it. Otherwise, we're just kind of right back where we are, right back where we were. And hopefully things can kind of hold themselves together throughout the weekend. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get started on working on a video. And I appreciate you all for tuning in and sticking throughout the whole week. If you haven't hit that like button, please do. It's the #1 way to support the channel. And guys, I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Now, this is just a quick little reminder here. There will be no markets in the morning on Monday because it is actually Labor Day here in the United States. Which it's a weird holiday because not everybody gets Labor Day off. But yeah, there will not be markets in the morning on Monday. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, I'll try to get a video out today. I got a topic to talk about. And guys, I want to thank you all so much for supporting me and supporting my channel. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.